Brother, if you
Yes, sir.
I like how you came on there, man. If you're able to grow facial hair, you gotta have some type of facial hair.
You should have that shit on your fucking face. Like, you can't just be running around smooth faced by choice. That's fucking
Nah, that
insane.
is wild, dog. So if you guys don't understand, I know we just jumped into this shit, but
Fuck it.
as you can see, not for our Spotify and Apple listeners and all that, they can't see, but for our YouTube subscribers and people visualizing this right now, I have a goatee. Yeah,
You usually got the full
yeah, it has a
beard.
little sprinkles of salt and pepper in there, and it's fresh. It's fresh from fucking my beard up. Fresh, just did it. I just fucked it up. Right,
Fuck the beard up, went straight to the
but
pod.
straight to the pod from the bathroom. Drop the clippers, and mind you, I dropped the clippers in disgust and shock from what what I'm witnessing.
Didn't even have time to fully regret the choice.
So far, I've heard, I look like my wife said I look like a fucking cop, a retired grizzled Marine trying to get his life together. Jason has stated that. What'd you say, Jason? I look like Lonzo.
Alonzo from Training Day. King Kong ain't got shit on you.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
That's how we rocking today. You just need the fucking stocking cap.
You disloyal motherfuckers. Bitch made, disloyal. Yes. I might adapt. You know what? I think I'm going to adapt this Lonzo. I like that.
You adopt that new personality. Yeah, that's how we rocking. You get the leather coat going, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, it beats being Gilbert Arenas' evil twin brother.
That's a fact. It beats having a fully naked face by choice.
That's wild.
Insanity.
That's wild.
Insanity. Grown men removing all of the hair off of their face just because.
Just because. You know what? There's a creepy element to that too. So
let's explore this.
A little bit, just a little bit before we even get into what we're gonna explore just a little bit. If you have a motive, right? You just didn't fuck your beard up. That's not the motive. Because if you fuck your beard up, there's only a couple options. Then you go from beard to goatee. You fuck the goatee up, then you go from here to just having a stash, which is wild.
That is crazy. Unless you got like a real solid one going, like the Steve Harvey shit or something back in the day.
Some old Western Wild Wild West shit.
Yeah, like a fucking bounty hunter.
Yo, the bounty hunter mustache is crazy. Look.
Yeah, just the mustache by itself is wild. You at least got the little shit in the mustache, the little shit in the middle going. Even if you don't got the full goatee, 1, 2, 3.
If you need the component. Yeah, this little. I don't even know what they call this shit right here. If you get rid of that,
I think it's a soul patch. I think it's a soul patch.
Right, that's a soul patch. But once all that is gone, once you fuck all that up, we bareface, right? And this is what you have to do when you're bareface. You stay in the house. You don't take any pictures. Any pictures must be confiscated.
No, you definitely don't take pictures. No. Nah, you can't be taking pictures. Are you proud of that? You can't be proud of that.
Any pictures will be confiscated and torn apart or destroyed. Any photos, right? So you stay in the house until you get your little stubble back. But if you choose to do so, you choose to go bareface, you have a motive. And I will assume that motive is nefarious at best. Look, fuck it. We going there, man.
You are not up to anything positive. Waking up in the morning and shaving your whole face bald. Especially if you shave your whole face bald, then you put on some sort of like graphic.
Oh my!
Like what you doing walking around as a grown man with a bald face and a Star Wars shirt
on. Dog. We know what you up to. I might just shoot off on you. I might just pop up on
Just on principle, just to be safe, you
just to
know.
be safe. I might just steal on you, man. Cause
Yeah, because it looked like you will get knocked out and candy will fall out your pockets, and that's
we making assumptions here off the rip.
I mean, hey, that's again. Now I know everybody's sensitive. I know some people can't grow facial hair. That's
That's
different. That's
different.
not your choice. That's what you were stuck
That's
with.
different.
But for people, I've seen people who can grow full entire
Yes.
beards and remove it.
Choose.
That's
We
insanity.
always talk about on this show. We talk about options and having them in choices
Choices,
and
yes.
options, and so yeah, not having a beard is a wild option. I don't choose. I don't.
It's a wild
Yeah.
choice to present yourself to the world that way on purpose.
So we're starting. We're starting there. That's where we're starting. Uh, and we kind of started kind of late because I'm running around and I got I got these I got a family. I got my young daughter and I got my wife and they're fucking. My daughter's like, hey, when can I wear makeup and shit? I'm like, I got to do the podcast. Hey, when can I make up? I'm like, yo, look, listen, never. How about never? Now we have,
That's how we rock it. You just can't.
yeah, so we have to have that.
No.
Yeah, we have to have that conversation 5 minutes before I have to hop on to do this pass. But that leads me into a couple of interesting questions because I take these questions from life and I shoot it at the all-knowing Yoda because I'm like, yo, maybe he can help me out, man. Maybe he can help me out, man.
It's here to break some shit down. Let's do
All right,
it.
so even before we'll start the pod, let's get into this things because I want to know. Fuck the people right now. It's about me, man. I need to know some things.
Yes, sir.
So me and my wife were discussing popular high school people, and we're trying to break down to my youngest, who is 8 years old. Those girls in your little school, they might be popular now. They're peaking too early. Where are the popular jocks and bullies and the in girls and the cute girl? Where are they now? If we had a show, where are they now? What would they look like? What are they doing? Right? I want to ask Yoda, the all-knowing, is there anyone from his high school or did Yoda go to high school? Was it just like some mountaintop where he just learned everything? Or
From the most
was it a high school? Was it a high school where there was normal people there, not floating and bending spoons and shit like that? Was it normal? Were there popular kids there? And do the does is there are there those popular kids? Are they still? What are they doing right now, Yoda?
Man, there were absolutely popular people in my high school, and I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't have a single bit of an idea what anybody that I went to high school with is doing
Says a
right the
lot.
fuck now.
Says a lot.
I would go out on a limb and assume it's nothing, but I don't personally know. But if I had to take a
Right.
guess, it would not be anything productive or positive.
Right. Now, with that being said, this is the question, Yoda. Why?
Exactly. So this is the way I see it. I've never really thought about this until just right now, but the way I see it, what makes you popular in high school is all of the stuff that will ensure that you fail as an adult, right? Because this is the time when you're a child, you're young, you're supposed to partake in stupid shit and do, a bunch of nothing meaningless stuff. But the people who do that the best in high school kind of get the reinforcement from doing all of this overall nothing stuff. And then they go out into life, into the real world, still trying to take this same stuff. I played football when I was 18 years old and I ran a touchdown at one time. And nobody gives a fuck about that in life. Nobody gives a fuck about the fact that you throw parties and get drunk late at night and whatnot, and you have just a vehicle, period. Like in when I was in high school, if you had a car at all, you were doing it. It didn't matter what the car was. It just mattered that you have a vehicle. But once you get out into the real world, into life, past college and stuff, you don't get rewarded for that type of shit anymore. But so because of this, because everybody was all over them for the type of stuff it is how that they had or how it is that they look, they never had to learn the work ethic or the discipline or any of the personality traits or skill sets that will help you succeed in life. They got reinforced for the wrong stuff. So then when they were let free, they didn't know what the fuck to do. That's why you see so many of the people who still sit there 50 some odd years old talking about their high school days, or like, oh man, I used to bench 315 in college. I used to be in real good shape. All the girls used to like me. You see back then, but they never got to move on from it because they got, again, that positive reinforcement from the negative activities, and that's not what's going to help you out in life. Like the people who are doing good in life are the people who were focused on learning and growing, not specifically because they learned stuff in high school. It's not like the fact that they learned fucking botany or whatever. That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But the fact that they learned to sit there and ignore what the masses were doing and focus on something is what's going to take you places. Not any of that other shit. Yeah, that's amazing. You're 16 and you got a pair of $1,000 jeans. Whoop-de fucking do. In real life, out in the real world, that's not only unimpressive, it's a terrible usage of your money if you're broke. So that's just my theory over here, unpacking this currently.
That's why if anybody doubted Yoda,
you know what? Hold up. And then on top of that, right? You look at the people in the sports teams and whatnot. They get their football, their basketball, but you don't have to be truly good to be good in high school. You just have to be better than teenagers. So again, because of the fact that it's very like genetically, right? Some kids just grow up and they're bigger, so they're just naturally better. So they don't actually have to work hard to be better than other people. They just are. So they also, again, never learn that work ethic or that showing up when it is that you don't want to and pushing yourself past your limits because they were just naturally good at stuff. And while that might work out where you're 15, 16, 17 years old, where you're fully grown off into the real world, that you're trying to figure out how to make sales, how to market, how to, have yourself a good routine where you do all of the stuff that you need to do every day and, disregard all of the fun stuff and going out to the bars and whatnot. You don't know how to do that anymore.
If you ever doubted,
It's the end of my high school
yeah,
theory.
man, if you ever doubted Yoda, there it is, people. I just threw that at him. It wasn't. That's not scripted or anything. I just threw it.
Never talked about this. Literally, never once have I thought about this before in my
I
life.
just threw it at him, man. I like to keep Yoda on his toes, man. That's what we do.
You know what? I like that. It's sometimes it's better to let things organically unfold. People like to sit down with their little scripted conversations and all. We don't do
We
that.
ain't doing that.
This is not what it is. We're not reading off of teleprompters. This is not some news channel and whatnot where someone told us what to think. We're just going.
Hold on,
We're
Jay.
just saying shit.
I do have my monologue, yo. Don't take that from me.
The monologue is completely different.
I'm messing with you.
Monologue is completely
Yeah,
different.
no, I'm fucking
You
with
guys to have the intro.
Yeah, I'm fucking with you.
And nobody wrote it.
No,
for you.
nobody wrote. No, we ain't doing AI over here. It's all was it Chat GBT or whatever that case be? Nah, it's all coming from the brains of these folks over here.
The inner workings of the mind.
Yeah, so I'll wrap up the whole fucking high school shit. Look, I just believe people peak early, man. And when you peak early, there's no room for growth after you are the shit in high school. What's left? Right? What's left, right? That's my theory and shit. I'll wrap that up. It means absolutely nothing. But also one other thing that I'll throw for you from my own personal information. People who question everything like this just gets on my fucking nerves. This is shit that I discuss with not just people that question everything. Let me rephrase that. People will question everything, including the truth. Right? People who question the truth makes kind of, I don't like that, right? So, and the people who believe everything they see online, right? People will believe everything they see online. Oh man, see motherfucker get hit by a train, got back up. You seen that video? But then they'll believe that. They'll believe that video, but then disregard the video saying, hey man, maybe processed foods are not good. No man, hey man, listen man, I'm gonna go ahead and question that right there because you know what?
That's the weird
That's, yeah,
thing.
man. Listen, a little fried chicken, a little fried French fries, that ain't gonna kill you now. A little French fries,
And Hot Pockets,
yeah, a little hot pocket, a little that shit ain't gonna kill you. So there's people who believe certain things that they see online or believe everything, but question certain things like shit like health and financial advice and shit. Oh, they'll question that, right? Or they'll believe they'll question everything, but not stuff like whipping up a vaccine made in a month. You can't question that, right? That can't be questioned. You can't question that shit. You can't question um, if a guy has wearing a skirt or anything. You can't question these things, right? But you can, you understand what I'm saying? So that you don't have to even comment too much on that, but that just irks my nerves. And that leads me to my opening monologue, and that's the truth. But I'll let you chime in on the truth, right? People questioning the truth. What do you feel about that, Jay?
So I think that there are some people who want the truth, some people who want what's convenient, and some people who want to be contrarians. And they confuse disputing everything with actually being intelligent or being a free thinker, where they're just like, well, I just don't go along with whatever because I think my own thoughts. It's like, no, you're just difficult and unpleasant. Those are two very different
Mm-hmm.
things. But like you said, with the like, people will accept the thing about the train, people will accept the thing about the vaccine, but they won't accept the fact that the food that they're eating isn't good for them. Because one thing is an exciting thing, the train, the vaccine, it's easier to go along with it than anything else. And it's also easier to believe that the food that they're eating isn't bad for them because they want to continue eating
Yes,
the food and they don't want to figure out what it is that they
that's
should
the
do.
point.
They don't care about the truth, they care about what's easy, which I think is what category that most people fall into. And it's where they wind up with all of these tales like, well, I only gained weight because the medicine I'm taking made me do it. Or because you don't understand, I was diagnosed with depression, so I had to get fat. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense if you actually think about it. But they don't care if it's true because it makes them feel good. So they're not act like the truth and what's factually accurate is of zero relevance to them, because these are the same people who will sit there and watch the news and in 1 minute be willing to go along with people saying, yeah, everything on the news is true, but I mean, excuse me, is a lie, but also these news stories are true,
Mm-hmm.
or everything on the news is a lie, but yeah, everything we learned about history is true. What they're telling us today is a lie, but the past isn't. Like,
Right.
that doesn't even make any sense, because again, they don't actually care what's true, they care what's easiest to go along with. And then there's the contrarian people who just want to dispute shit for the fuck of it because they don't have any real personality and or the wherewithal to actually truly think for themselves and then stand up for the thoughts that they have. So they just disagree with your thoughts. Like, if I say that the sky is blue, someone will be like, nah, it only looks that way because of the
Yeah.
way that it's reflecting off the ocean, but really it's a deep
It's
tan
fucking blue,
color,
man.
you just can't
It's
see it.
fucking blue,
It's,
man.
yeah, exactly. So they'll just go against whatever it is that everyone else is. There's also some people too who I believe will adopt every single thing that they believe from whatever group it is that they have aligned themselves with believe. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the people who are like, yeah, men can wear skirts. I guarantee you, if those same exact people, those same exact group of people and leaders flipped positions, they would flip positions too and just act like they never thought the thing to begin with. So, but this goes back to what it is that we talk about most of the time. It's just an aversion to true free thought. Like, actually thinking for yourself is very different than just disputing everything or questioning everything that everyone says, because that's easy. What is difficult is to look at something, analyze it for yourself, and then be willing to stand on that belief when people tell you that you're wrong. No, you're wrong because of this data. Fuck you, I don't care, this is what I think, and this is where it is that we are. That's very different than just, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong, with no actual counterpoint or stance of your own.
Right. And that's actually a pretty good segue to us starting the show, right? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that wasn't even the fucking beginning. We was just
We have not gotten to the intro
we
yet.
was just shooting the shit. That's what we do.
It's
Right?
just what we do.
So I'll name this pod, and I get the names from us shooting the shit. So this one is a simple phrase. The truth will set you free. Right? The
Mm.
truth will set you free, man. And that brings me to one of my quotes from one of my raps. Because
There we
I'm
go.
like a fucking
Bring the bars in the
yeah,
beginning.
man. I'm like a philosopher out here, man. There's my wife over there. Hey. She mad at me. She says I gotta ease it over. So you're gonna help me, Jay. Hey, how you doing? Say hey. Jay say
How we doing?
yeah. Jay says hello. All right, she smiled, so we're good.
Hope you're having a beautiful day.
Hey, there we go. There, Jay. She smiled now. Hey, even Yoda can smooth, but Yoda can even smooth that over, yo. My man.
Multi-talented over
My
here. That's how we
man, my
rolling.
man. Thank you, Yoda. But the truth, the truth will set you free, right? I once said in a rap, my philosophies are so fucking poignant. I once said in a rap, the truth is like a bully that everybody pretends to like, right?
Mm.
Most people can tolerate that truth bully, because we mentioned high school and bullies and jocks and right. So you should how to just tie that in, right? Most people can tolerate that truth bully until that bully is in their face. If you think about a bully, Jay, if you think about a bully, what a bully do? A bully tell the truth. One thing about a bully, he don't lie. If you're fat, dirty, awkward, broke, weak, ugly, whatever you are, that bully will harp on
I'm
that.
gonna tell you.
He will harp on that, and that's called bullying, right? That's what the truth is. Truth is a big old musclehead bully that
Mm.
people they pretend to like that motherfucker when he's around. They don't really like him, right? When he's in staring them in the face, they don't like it. To stand up to this truth, to this bully, you have to accept, process, then do something to positively affect the outcome of being fat, awkward, whatever that truth may be. See, and I'll start here. We live in a world where the truth is not the end all be all anymore. And what I mean by that is you can literally tell a person if you dedicate yourself and adopt a positive mentality, coupled with great consistency, you will achieve at the very least some level of success. And you'd hear, yeah, but it's more than
It's
that.
not that
It's
easy.
not that easy. It's more than that. It's more
You don't know what it's
complicated. Yeah,
like.
you don't know what it's like. It's complicated. You could tell a person, hold on, it doesn't end there. You could tell a person men can't have babies. And
That's
there's a yes, there's an automated rebuttal. There's an automated rebuttal for that as well. Right? I'm not even gonna spew that shit out. Why why is the truth not the end all be all? I don't want to hear no nuanced explanation of why the truth is more complicated than what it is. The truth is just the fucking truth. How a person receives that truth tells me a lot about that said person, right?
mm.
Right? How he receives the truth tells me a lot about you, right? If you mention the delivery, the situation, or the source of that undeniable truth, you are not meant to be in the arena with the rest of us gladiators. There is no collect.
That's a
That's a fact,
fact.
right? There is no collection of compassionate vocal tones a doctor can muster up to tell you that your kid's not going to make it. That's not going to make it any easier. I don't care how he says it. The truth is the truth. It doesn't matter, right? You want to win in life, you have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable truth. Now, one more thing,
Mm.
and I'll end it there so you can chime in. I got a question for the people. Women, do you think telling your fat girlfriend they're thick makes you a nice person? Right? Fellas, you telling your broke friend that money isn't everything. You think that's gonna help. Trying to tell someone the uncomfortable truth in a comfortable fashion does not make you a kind or good person. In fact, in my opinion, that makes you the opposite. Gunshots.
That was called for. This is an opening monologue here, people. Right now, take motherfucking notes. This is what we are doing. So first and foremost, I fully agree with all of that. Shocker, I know. But here's the thing. I say all of the time, everyone knows that excuses don't matter, but everyone thinks that their excuses are the exception. They are not. So, however, we have come to a very, very strange place in the world today where facts have gone from being something of importance to taking second place to feelings. And I think that that is one of the most detrimental things to people that there is, because when you cater to your feelings, you're looking for what it is that's going to make you feel better about your situation. But feeling better about your situation, feeling better about your life, feeling better about what you have going on is not what you need. What you need is to improve your situation. And the only way that you're going to have the tools to improve your situation is with the implementation of the truth. Period. There is zero other ways around it. And people like to have these things and they want to add in, like we've talked about before, these nuances and this gray area and this in between and make exceptions and stuff. And all that does is muddy up the water and gives you an excuse not to try and do what it is that you need to do. We can sit here all day and we can split hairs and you could point at all of your different factors. You could say it's your genetics. You could say it's your relationship with food growing up. You could say it's your thyroid. You could say that it's the medicine that you're on. You can point to the chemicals in the food that you're eating. You could call it whatever it is that you would like. You could call it your PCOS. You could call it anything that you want. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is you're fat because you eat too much food. Period. Doesn't matter what your metabolism is. It doesn't matter any of the rest of that shit. Do some people have faster metabolisms and slower metabolisms? Sure. But you're eating too much food for you. Whatever that looks like is of absolutely no relevance. Maybe you're hungry. Okay, that's fine, but you don't have to eat. And the fact of the matter is you ate too much food and that is why you are fat. Period. There are zero other reasons. There is no other nuance. There is no grade to be added on there. There is no exception, because I guarantee you, if we take your fat, obese ass and sit you in a room by yourself with some water for a year, at the end of that, you are going to come out looking skinny, depending on how fat it is that you were. Go find me a fat corpse that died of starvation. That's not a thing. Where are the obese prisoners? Where are the obese homeless people? When's the last time you were driving up the street, looked under the highway, and saw some 500-pound bitch sitting there under the bridge eating a bucket of fucking KFC? That's not what it is that takes place, because they don't have the funds to get the food, so they don't get the food. That's just life. That's just how it is that it works. And this applies to all of the things too. You could take your addictions, you could take your brokenness, you could take your mental health disorders, you could take whatever it is. Your actions have caused your situation. Period. Some things are factually true, and denying that they are factual to serve your feelings is not going to change the fact. You said the thing, men can get pregnant. No, men cannot get pregnant. That's stupid. Women who have taken testosterone and want to tell the world that their man can get pregnant. Yes, absolutely. Those are still men. And you could sit there again and you could try and nuance and gray area all it is that you like. You could call gender a societal construct if you want. Okay, that's fine. But regardless, men and women are still not the same. It doesn't matter what it is that you call them. These are clearly two different things. You could say that a street sign and a car are both societal constructs. Sure, absolutely they are. Society named the thing, society gave the two classifications to the thing, but no matter what you do, a street sign and a car is still not the same. It doesn't really fucking matter. So things are different. You could split hairs over titles all that you want, but the fact is one thing is not the other thing. Do with that what it is that you like. There is not nuance to that. There is not some sort of gray area. And I know people point to the thing, well, what about intersex people? That's a birth defect. Some people are born without arms. It doesn't mean that some people only have one arm naturally. You're not supposed to have one arm. You're supposed to have two. They were born differently. It's not a thing. You're not a different type of person. You're not some sort of unique species. You're a person with a birth defect. Such is life. That's unfortunate for you, but it doesn't change the entire way that the world works as we know it. And people do all of this shit. So from a very interpersonal, individual, societal, individual people, member of society level, I believe it's just people who want to feel good about stuff no matter what it is that they say. They want people to applaud them for being fat, and they don't want to think it's their fault if they don't like the fact that they're fat. They feel like they're some sort of different gender. This person thinks he's a squirrel and he wants the world to acknowledge him as a squirrel. That's just a personal, selfish thing. But I think from a much higher level, as we talk about all of the time on here, the game within a game level, is that all of these narratives get pushed because at the end of the day, truth is power.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take the truth from someone, you're also taking the power
Mm-hmm.
away from someone. Because like you said, sure, when you tell your friend money isn't everything, you might make them feel better in the moment, but you've also taken their power away, because now you've taken away that negative feeling, that shame,
Mm-hmm.
that the idea that they're not doing something that it should be away, which will motivate them to improve themselves. When you tell your girlfriend, yeah, you're thick and it's just your hormones, it's just your genetics, it's your thyroid, then sure, that comforts her, but it also takes away her power to change, because if it's not her fault, then she can't do anything
Mm-hmm.
about it. When you tell these other people, yeah, it's cool that you think that you're a lampshade, that's just how it is that you were born, and some people are truly lampshades. Sure, that makes them feel better, but you're also affirming their delusions, which is preventing them from doing what it is that they need to do to better themselves. You're taking away people's ability to have any real degree of autonomy or agency or be able to improve their situations at all, because you've convinced them that they had nothing to do with it and this is just where they are. So you've taken everyone's power away whenever you take away the truth. And I think that that's the overall goal on the higher up level, and the reason that you see certain shit, politicians, commercials, all of that shit going along with these weird ass narratives, not for the purpose of body positivity and inclusion and tolerance and all of that shit that they talk about, but for the purpose of, again, removing agency from everybody.
Is there a nice way or correct way to tell someone the truth? Can I, okay, for instance, your friend is a lampshade. He wants to be, hey man, I'm a lampshade, man. Is there
Yeah.
is there a correct or nuanced or certain vocal tone I can use to relate to him that you're not a lampshade, man? You're a fucking idiot.
So here's the thing, man. People have this. This is one of my least favorite sayings. At least when men say it, is it's not what you say,
It's how you
it's
say
how
it.
you say it. And
Hate
I
that.
cannot
I hate that
stand that
shit.
shit, because if I go to the doctor and the doctor walks in the room and says, "Man, I'm so sorry to tell you this, and I don't know how you're going to receive it, but unfortunately for you, it looks like you have cancer," and the doctor walks in the room and says, "Hey, bitch, you got cancer," at
Same
the end of
shit.
the day, I still have fucking
Same
cancer.
shit,
It
man.
doesn't really matter how it is that you told me. A
No.
fact is a fact. It doesn't matter how it's conveyed. And if you are unable to receive information unless it's worded to you politely, you're limiting yourself. You're sitting here like, you need to tell me this message properly. No, I don't.
No.
Fuck you. I don't need you to hear this message, period. I'm doing you a favor by telling you to begin
First
with.
of all,
So you're not going to sit here and tell me that.
Jay, what type of person would harp on not the mess, not the no, what type of person would harp on not the cancer part, not the part that I have cancer. It's how you told me. What type of person you have to be to harp on not the fact that I have this life-threatening disease and you told me, but I didn't like the way you told me, man. So now we're gonna harp
I
on
don't like the
that.
way you
Who are you, yo?
bitch.
Yeah.
A bitch. This is bitch activity.
Fuck.
This is bitch ass. What is
I hate
wrong
that
with
shit.
you? That's the thing. What is wrong with people? You're like, you told me that I have cancer, but it didn't sound nice, and that's what makes me sad. You should be sad that
You
you have
better
cancer,
believe it.
motherfucker. Work on that. Who cares how I
You better
told you?
believe it. You better.
This These are the problem. The problem isn't that I said you were fat. The problem is that you're fat.
That's
What
the
are you talking? What are
problem.
you mad at me for? I didn't make you fat. Your appetite did.
That's
I
it.
don't control that.
Come on, man.
Get mad at yourself. That's the thing that people have. If you don't like hearing a description about yourself, then you don't like yourself. It's not the fact that I described you. The problem is that you're able to be described like that. I wouldn't like if someone called me fat either, but I'm not fat.
That's
There you
there
go.
it is.
Problem solved. I don't get fat and then make people not able to say it. That's insane.
Well, the thing about the truth and the whole bully truth thing is the whole thing about that is you have to the bully. In order to stand up to the bully, you have to starve the bully because he feeds off the truth, right? So, like you said, if I'm
Mm.
fat, that means I'm fat and I have to lose weight. He cannot call me fat anymore. So, or if I'm an idiot, oh, you're an idiot. Go read some fucking books and don't be an
Read a
idiot
book.
and take the power back, right? Starve the bully. That's how you stand
The
up.
shit is only offensive or hurtful because it's true.
That's the
Like
reason.
that's it. It's not the way that this person said it. Because
No.
if I was to say to you, "Hey man, you love your kids, motherfucker," you're not gonna feel bad about it. 'Cause I said it
Yeah,
too
great point.
aggressively. It's not the tone
Great
of what it
point.
is that
Yeah.
said. If I said to you, "Hey man, you're a fucking petty thief." Like if you don't steal shit, there's nothing to be offended about. It's offensive because shit offends because it's true. This is why it's pushing your buttons here. Like people highlight your insecurities and then you get mad about it. You know, people talk shit to me every single day and tell me all kinds of stuff. I don't care because I'm fine with the things, or they
Yes.
make shit up and I don't care because it's not true.
True. Right.
But if it offends you, it applies to you. Period.
Period. Period, man. Come on now.
Period.
We got to toughen up, man. Especially if you guys want to enter the arena.
Period.
You want to enter the arena with the gladiators, man. You got to toughen up. Man. You got to toughen up,
You
man.
go get hit. That's just life.
That's the
And
first
you gotta
step.
learn to wear that shit and learn from it. Like, but people want to sit there and get hit and cry about the fact that they got hit rather than learning to take a punch and block and parry. Like you
Right.
have to. This is what you should be focused on. You want to sit there and whine that people need to stop swinging at me. No, you need to dodge and you need to get better at taking a hit. That's life.
That is life, man.
Learn to fight.
And let me tell you something.
Other people aren't going to stop fighting because you can't.
Absolutely not. And you know, we've said this before. The person who who leaves with the blackest eye is the person not willing to fucking defend themselves. Usually. So yeah. And I'll end the whole truth thing with I'm no longer going to debate the validity of the truth anymore. We're not it's not up for debate, whether it be in a comment section or real life conversation. I'm not going to debate the truth anymore with anybody. Just because you're able to make an argument via fancy words or fake moral justifications or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean the argument needs to be made. Right? Doesn't mean it needs to be made. I will no longer debate the truth with you, motherfuckers. I am not going to call it him or her or her or him. I'm not debating no more truth with nobody.
See that, and that's a thing that people have all the way wrong because people think that everything revolves around them. Like I'll say something and people will argue with it, and then I don't participate, and they're like, "Ha, see, you can't defend your point." It's not that I can't. It's that I don't give a fuck if you agree with me. Like I don't understand who it is that you have convinced yourself that I believe that you are, but it's nobody. And I'm not going to sit here and argue. I don't need you to agree with me. This is what I think, or this is a fact. One of the two things. I don't need you to co-sign my opinion, and I don't need you to validate facts for me. So that's a terrible way that people have of going about the world. There is that you're not owed an explanation. You're not owed anybody's time. Nobody gives a shit. You can disagree with me. You can disagree with us all that you fucking like. That's amazing. But if you disagree with something that we said, we still said it, and we'll probably say it again, and we'll not explain it to you. Such is life.
That's just the way it is.
Nobody cares.
That's just the way it is.
It doesn't matter.
You know, that right there is going to lead me. And I know I've sent you this. And it's so let me pull this up. Anthony Mackie. That's his name. All I know is
New Captain America.
Captain America. I know him from he played Tupac in the Biggie movie. He got a lot of
Yeah, he was what was his name in 8 Mile? Papa Doc.
Papa Doc.
Papa Doc at 8 Mile. Yeah.
His bars was trash. Like dog, Papa Doc was trash.
That's what he was like. Yo, Lotto was better than him. The other like all the rest of your crew was better than you. Like why are you the head?
Let me tell you something. He came back with this statement right here for me personally because I was looking at him like, man, I don't know about that Tupac. He played Tupac kind of crazy. Papa Doc was Papa Doc.
Oh yeah, he was Tupac in the big movie. Yeah.
Trash.
Oh, that's a wild choice. He's not.
He's not. He wasn't a good Tupac. I'm not saying he can't act. The dude could act, but
nah, he was cool. Justin Bureau and shit. This isn't his fucking IMDb.
Yeah. But you know, what's the other one? Hurt Locker. He was good in Hurt Locker. Yeah, great actor, but certain roles is not for everybody.
Tupac is not.
That wasn't for him. Yeah, but that's besides the point. So Anthony Mackie, We gotta, we gonna divert from the fucking true message sometimes. But getting back to what we're originally trying to say, he was on a show called what's it called, the Pivot, right? And he's been catching some flack for some comments. Here's the comment. It was, I'm not going to go through every comment, but I'll give you a little gist of it. Okay, he said, "We've been living through the death of the American male. They've killed masculinity in our communities." And then he goes on to describe how he raises his boys. Respectful, man of the house. Yes,
To be
sir.
protectors.
Protectors. No, sir. Yes, sir. I ain't putting no Jordans on them. They ain't on that fake fly shit. All this other shit he's saying. And uh, whether it means anything, I agree. I agreed with all of what he was saying and how you should raise boys. Um, I just want to get your take on that. Me personally, I didn't find anything wrong with what he said. I actually do agree with the whole masculinity thing and people trying to destroy the what masculinity even means, the meaning of it.
Yeah, so when you sent me that, I watched it. What he was saying at first, we said that I thought he was going to be saying some crazy
Right,
shit just because
right.
you sent it. But then I listened to it. I'm like, oh, this makes perfect, complete sense. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. Is you want your boys to say yes sir, yes ma'am. Like, that's the respectful thing to speak to people. That's how you should do. Whenever you're out of town, you want the oldest one to watch over the house, make sure everything's good, make sure everything is straight in there. Yeah, I mean, you don't want, if there's an intruder, what, you want your wife to go fight the motherfucker? That's crazy. Like,
It's crazy.
I know some people do now because
Right,
feminism,
right, right,
equal
right.
equal
My,
power for
my wife,
everybody.
my
Like,
wife power
let your
lifts. She's powerlifting now, so she,
yeah,
you know,
let your fucking Angelina Jolie insult and shit. Like, let your girlfriend go get beat up by the fucking home invader and shit. Like, that's insanity. But
yeah.
is he said everything that was perfectly reasonable. And again, we talked about this, I think, last episode. Like, anyone who could take an objective look out into the world without putting their stupid little feelings into it and acknowledge the truth can see that, yeah, there is a bitchification of dudes going on out in the, like, this is very, very apparent. This is very obvious from, you see these motherfuckers recording themselves crying and making videos, and then people popping up talk about, oh, look how strong this person is to do that. Like, you know what kind of
Word.
person you have to be to sit there and record yourself crying and
Crazy.
put it on a video? Like, I'm real sad, I'm gonna pull my phone out right now and wait till I get my tears going and hit record. And like, that's insane. That's a crazy thing to do. And people are like, this is strength, this is strong. Real men should cry in public and talk about their feelings and pick flowers in a field and and take recharge days and all of this other fruity ass shit. But that's what they push now. And you can, even if you want to be one of these sensitive, politically correct motherfuckers, you could say it is a departure from traditional masculinity. So you could say it's a change regardless of whatever it is that you would like to say. So clearly they're pushing a change, and he does not agree with the direction that it's going, as I don't, as you don't. We've discussed this. I think that everything that he said was perfectly reasonable. That's exactly what it is that he should do. And also, I applaud him for saying the shit, because nowadays you got fucking, I don't mean to sit here and specifically name names or talk shit about anybody, but you got these other athletes who were once looked up to as like pillars or examples of masculinity, talking about how their fucking little boy's a girl now. Like,
I was gonna
or
say.
fucking certain other people,
I was gonna say that, Jay. Look, I was gonna say.
certain other people's kids dressed up like fucking playhouses for like weird, all kinds of weird shit going on.
I was
So
gonna say.
I applaud
Me
him
too.
for
Me too. I applaud that, man.
nothing but respect for that.
I find it interesting that Dwayne Wade, right? Just call a spade, and I'll just say this. I find it interesting that Dwayne Wade can publicly raise his son as a girl and be considered a hero, right? To some, but this dude Mackey, and by no stretch of the imagination, is doing the opposite and raising his boy.
Wants to raise his boys as
And
boys.
I say this. This is what reason I'm saying this. I don't have nothing personal against Dwayne Wade or whatever he got going on, but he publicly came out because Otherwise, I wouldn't have a take on it if he didn't publicly make this public, or either him, either,
That's a
yeah,
fact.
whether it be
Wouldn't even have
Mackie,
known.
yeah, I wouldn't know about it. I wouldn't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck now, but I'm just saying the reason I can have a take on it because he publicly, made this a thing, and and this is supposed to be the pillar of strength, and he's a hero because he's brave enough to brave all these opinions, which you're not allowed to have anyway. So what are you braving if there's not going to be any opinions? If you don't, if I don't agree with your opinion, you're going to bash me anyway. So where's the bravery coming in anyway? Right?
The bravery would be going against it.
Right. But in my opinion, if something is said publicly, there is an agenda or a motive behind it because you could have just kept it to yourself. Right.
Could have kept
So
it to
here's where
yourself.
our criticism comes from. Because you ain't going to defend it. You could call us all the names you want that don't mean anything, homophobic and this and that, and all this other bullshit, toxic, whatever. You could come up with all the statements you want, all of that. But I wouldn't have an opinion on it if you would have just kept it to yourself. Because I don't give a fuck what you do behind your clothes. Do what you want to do. I don't care, right? But it's the motive behind you coming out and stating these things and making it and dressing it up to make it look like other than what it is, a little boy turning a little boy into a girl, which I don't agree with that. I don't agree with anyone trying to propagate that image of a young boy. I don't agree with that. So, but am I going to go into your household if it's a private household and I don't know what's going on? Am I going to break it to your house and having an opinion on what's going on in your house?
You
No.
shouldn't be doing
Yeah,
this.
I don't give a fuck what's going on in your house. You did this. You did this to yourself. So
You said, "Hey, everybody, look at this."
look at what I'm doing. I'm a fucking hero. I'm braving the cold world because my son is I'm raising my son to be a look. That's your business, right? I don't agree with it, and that's that. I agree with Anthony Mackie. He came out, and I agree with Jason for him being. I think that's brave because he's getting bashed. He's getting destroyed. He has a movie to promote. How the fuck he promoting a movie called Captain America? Right? Captain America. This man literally is Captain America or whatever. I don't really watch, or he's not Captain America, but the movie's called Captain America. He's his sidekick or whatever the case may be. But it's Captain America.
I think he became Captain America.
Right. I don't know how that. I don't.
I think, I
Yeah.
think he's Captain America now. I could be wrong. I think he is.
I think he is, right? So that is cool. So
I thought it was Captain America.
this dude is literally Captain America, trying to raise strong boys to protect his household as Captain America, as the character Captain America. And he's a toxic loser. He's not a hero. Right. So I just found that interesting. I'm not, like I said, I don't feel any type of way towards these characters that we're presenting to the people or these names, because I even in real life, I believe these people are characters, especially a dude like Dwayne Wade and even Anthony Mackie. He's an actor at the end of the day. He's an actor, and I see people bringing up, oh, well, this guy he played a gay guy in a movie. He's not the one to. Okay, I don't agree.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. First of all, it's a movie, and second of all, I don't have to, just because I agree with one thing, I don't have to agree with everything. That's the our people problem.
That's exactly
Yeah,
people's problem right there. Is like, this person said one thing bad, so fuck everything they've said
right.
forever, no matter what. Now, like that's
That's
crazy.
that's
Like,
crazy.
I don't agree with everything that everybody says. You shouldn't agree with that. No one should agree with everything that everybody says. But that doesn't mean, just because someone said something that you don't like, it doesn't mean that everything that they say is now bad. That's the thing. Like, again, we talked about the Kanye thing. This is you don't like one of the things he said, so now you just want to
Right.
take away every single other thing that he says,
Or
or it's
done.
insanity. It's like the people. It's like the people right now who are getting mad that Elon Musk is trying to save them money. And they're like, well, he's doing this, so fuck his cars. We're not buying his Teslas now because we don't like this particular. It's
Crazy.
ridiculous. You don't agree with everything that everyone does in their life, so everything now they are just totally removed and have no sort of value as anything at all anymore because you don't agree with any of their opinions. Absolute insanity.
except
And it's
except when it comes to politics. You can agree for 30 years. You could be a Democrat for 30 years. You could be a Republican for 30 years and disagree, but still go with it. Fuck it. I'm going to just do it.
Well, see, that's the thing. Though. Those people don't know what they agree with. They don't know what they
They don't
disagree with.
know.
They just going with it or they're going against it. They don't know. It's not up to them. It's whatever it is. They're said, hey, this is who you like. This is who you're voting for. This is what you believe in. Go do it. And they're like, okay.
Yeah. It's a special. It takes a special type of person. It takes a
Democrat for life.
takes
Republican till I die.
till I die. I'm going to be a Republican, a blue collar. Shut the floor, Democrat.
Like that. Yeah, that shit is absolutely fucking insane. Absolute insanity.
That's how.
And they capitalize off of this shit.
Yeah. That's who we're talking.
And but the Anthony Mackie thing, the comments that people were leaving under it, sitting there talking about how this is why black men are so fucked up and why can't they just be themselves without the pressure of being a man. It's like,
that was crazy.
What are you talking about?
That was crazy.
What does this even functionally mean? Because a lot of the things that people say when they want to go against these things is getting rid of certain degrees of morality and integrity is what people are fighting for the eradication of, because the idea that you should be the protector of your house is an integrity and is a moral belief. Like, why would you want people to not have this? Like, if you have certain morals and if you have certain degree of integrity, there are certain things that you're going to do and certain things that you're not going to do. So this is what comes along with all of that when you want to get rid of these things. You're saying, why can't you just be yourself and get rid and just not worry about being a good person or having morals or being strong or any of that stuff? So what if this person wants to put on a dress and hide out in the back of a high school? Like, this is insane. Like, you can't. Everyone can't just do everything. Everything can't be okay. That's ridiculous. Like, some things have to not be okay. You can't encourage everything. You can't tolerate everything. It can't just be everyone does whatever it is that they feel, because you see what happens when people are left to do whatever it is that they feel. Look at the shit that they find in people's basements, on people's hard drives, and fucking in people's yards, all of this stuff. This is what happens when you remove the need to have any sort of morality. This is what removes what happens when you remove the need to have any standards, is people feel free to go and do all kinds of this degenerate and despicable shit because it's how I'm feeling. It's okay because I'm just being me and I'm just expressing myself, and it's only wrong because of these societal standards, and we don't need to be governed and we don't need to be controlled by that. That's why I took all of these women's skin. Like this is but that's what happened. That's what it is. This is and people you can act like it's extreme all that you want, right? But it's the you give people an inch and they take a mile. Like, once you introduce a gray or an exception into anything, it becomes wide open. If this is okay, why is this not okay?
Right.
And you have it's very hard to come to a stopping point once you open the gate.
Yeah, but toxic masculinity. It's only toxic until you need it, right? Until there's a house burning down. Until there's a house burning down, and
you let your house catch on fire. Call the fire department, and a bunch of little fucking 5'2", 100-pound women who calling themselves Todd show up with their fucking colorful house. Let's see how happy you're gonna be. Now what? What happens when Brock Lesnar walks up to you on the street and starts beating your ass, and you call the police, and it's a 5'4" dude in a dress with a fucking mohawk telling you his pronouns are Firehawk. That's good luck.
It's crazy because even the women disagreeing with this is like you're disagreeing, but until you have to date a man that wasn't raised like how Mackie is raising his kids, until you have to date a man like that, and then you call him oh, he's soft, he's this and that. And then until it's toxic, until you need him to protect and serve. And then You need that same toxic masculinity to protect and serve you. And the same thing you've been going against for years. Oh, wow, I don't need that. That's toxic. That's now you need to be saved, right? I sent you something. A text. I seen a little meme of this fat guy. This is like looks like a flood, and this big marine carrying this guy's wife and kid in one. He has this guy's wife in one arm. He has his kid in the other arm, and the fat guy, he's carrying the bags, man. He's carrying the fucking.
Sauntering along.
He's carrying the bags, bro. Like, what would you rather have as a woman? You want the dude carrying the bags, or you want this big
That's what I'm saying.
toxic marine with this goatee, with this goatee,
This is that goatee.
with this goatee,
right there.
right here,
Right there. Honest, that's who's gonna carry you. That's who's gonna carry you to safety.
Right.
Not the dude with the fucking weird mullet thing and the painted finger. It's not that guy. But the thing is, see, this is the exact point though. A lot of these things work and can exist in times of peace and tranquility where everything's good. That stuff is fine. But what happens when you're out on the street and maybe you turn the wrong corner and somebody sees and they're like, I want his wallet and your purse and maybe you too. And then that motherfucking man turns around and starts screaming and running the other direction and flailing his arms and leaves you there. Now, where's this masculinity that was toxic? Because who is it that's going to sit there and stand up for you? Who is the one who's going to go and fight the 4 or 5 dudes? Who's the one who's going to pull out his own firearm and say, well, if I'm going to die, but you're going to be safe, and maybe some of them will die too. It's not that dude. It's not the sissy guy with the cry circles who shares his feelings and has his dream journal sitting there. But it's not that guy. It's the guy who is stoic and who does not cry even when he's sad. It is the guy who goes to the gym even though he doesn't feel like doing so. It is the guy that does not maybe know how to express his feelings best all of the time, but he will show you when the time comes. So that it's all well and fine when everything's well and fine, but one day shit won't be well and fine. It's the exact same thing.
When shit hit the fan.
Well, exactly. Everything changes then. Everything goes out the window. It's the exact same thing when they were going like the last little while and they're hiring all of these weird people to work in the White House. You got this dude in a military suit with a dress and some breath. That's all well and fine. But what happens when we go to war? You think the Putin and the dude who's running China and shit give a fuck about your little DEI initiatives and this Indian bitch and her funny little dances? You think he gives a fuck about that shit? No. And that's part of the problem is the stuff is you need to be able to protect against the outside world. And part of protecting against the outside world is appearing as someone that the outside world does not want to fuck with. Because I guarantee you and me will get harassed on the street less than some dude in tights with a long t-shirt and some makeup. That's just life. Yeah. Because one is problems that looks like you can solve, and one is something that looks like it might be an actual problem. Because as we discussed, nobody wants to get into a fight. No, people want to hit you and just have you accept it. People want to pull their firearm out and just have you accept it. Nobody wants you to draw your gun back. Nobody wants you to hit back. Nobody wants any of that. So when those situations look like that's going to arise, they get avoided in favor of the ones that don't look like it's going to happen. I read this book. I think it's called The Way of Men. And the dude, the Jack something is the name of the author, but he wrote that the reason for homophobia is not specifically a distaste of people being gay. It's the outward presentation of the willingness to submit to other men. Because when you're out in public, that makes you look like a target. You are now you're just outwardly appearing weak. And when you bring the weak link into your group, it weakens your group. That's just how life works.
That's raw. That's raw, and that's raw as shit. And you know what? Jay? I'll leave. Yeah. Thank you. Give yourself a goddamn gunshot, man.
Yeah, we just out here firing. You gotta get your fucking keyboard.
Yeah, look. Yeah, I do. I need some fucking firearms over here. I look like a fucking ex-Marine and shit. I might as well have all the shit, the trinklets that go with it.
Got a whole entire rifle sound and the fucking infantry noises and whatnot.
Yeah,
She would start coming on, and the national anthem starts
right,
playing
right, right. That's me. That's how I'm looking right now. But look,
with the entrance music.
I'll present a little situation before we wrap that up. I'll present a little situation for the audience, and I'll let them choose, and for the women and men or whatever. Say if you're a general, or you're the leader of the free world, or whatever the fuck you want to phrase this as, and you're picking, you're picking, you're picking out special Green Beret battalion rangers to go do a secret mission to save the world. Are you going to pick Dwayne Wade's son, or are you going to pick Mackey's son? We'll leave it with that. We're going to leave you with that. Whose sons are you going to pick? I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna leave it up to you. You make the decision. You do it. I'm not. I'm out of it. I'm out the equation. I'm gonna just leave y'all with that. And don't lie to yourself.
The choice is
The
yours.
choices don't tell the truth. Don't lie. We led with the truth, right? Didn't we, Jay?
This whole thing is about the truth. The truth shall set you
So
free.
don't lie. Whose sons are you going to choose? Secret mission to save the world. You gotta lift big shit and punch people in the face and stab and shoot. Who are you choosing? Okay? All right. Little fucking Robertina, whatever fuck I name is. let me edit there. So Diana, what fucking
Robert Dina
right.
is crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm just listen. I'm being jovial. It's satire, man. Y'all people relax, man. Um, y'all relax. Georgina is. Did I say Georgina or Robertina? Whatever.
Robert
Anyway, yeah,
Dina.
Robertina. That's crazy. I don't know where I came up with it. Anyway, look. Yo, you sent me something that was interesting, Jay. And last week we talked about Dolce and hot ones and shit, and I found that to be heard a hot one saying all that shit. And most people would leave it at that. Oh,
Not
most
us.
people would leave it at that. Oh, I didn't like I didn't agree with what she said. Whatever, or what she was implying. I don't agree, but let's move on. That's normal people, not Yoda. Yoda says, "Fuck that. I need to know what's what's really going on, right?" So he sends me this thing, and I'm like, and I start to read it, and I'm like, whoa. So it's about I'll be brief. So this guy, I don't know if you guys know George Soros, right? I'm not going to go take a deep dive into George Soros. I already did, but interesting character to say the least. Dude's fucked up. So I mean, for what I've read, the dude's kind of fucked up. I did some research. I've done some research, and he's kind of fucked up. Um, yeah,
Yep.
he's kind of fucked up. That's another whole nother subject. I'll please do your research on Mr. George Soros. Um, so reportedly, he's purchased the company that distributes or owns the rights to the show Hot Ones, right? And that's the show that Dolce was on, and that we had the comments about or the takes about her saying that her red flag is straight men. That's her red flag. So once you do your research into George Soros and what he's about, I think you'll find that whole thing interesting. Right now, George, you really need to. Yeah, you really need to. I want to say some things about Soros, but I don't. You know,
This is homework
right,
right
right.
now. This is
This is
homework for
homework,
people to
right? This is
do.
homework.
So research who George
Right,
Soros
billionaire
is.
dude, billionaire dude.
It's very
Yeah, billionaire
interesting.
dude. He's known to support the left or whatever. That's what it. So do your research, but
Support or
or
guide.
yeah, look, I don't want, like I said, these guys got homework. These guys got homework. Do your own, because I don't want to throw stuff at people and they like, all right, and then they just go with that. Usually people just go with the captions or go with what is said on the pod or the clip, and they won't do their own research. I'm not going to say anything about George Soros or lead you in any direction. You do your own research, and then You look at that clip with Dolce and the clip they led with to promote the show Hot Ones, and that clip led me to a more interesting question from my standpoint. And I asked Jay, I was like, Jay, is it just me or do we see a power struggle, right, between I hate saying left and right and all that. That shit is fucking bogus to me because both of them are fucking whatever. But is there a power struggle over the control of influence over the sheep? Because I said to Jay, money without influence, money without influence nowadays is not going to cut it.
Mm.
Money without influence is not going to cut it. It's far more useful to control what you think so that you can be led to the correct slaughterhouse. Right? It's all slaughterhouses, right? The sheep. You're all
Mm.
going to it.
The way that they want you to be slaughtered.
Right. They want to slaughter you the way they want to slaughter you. Correct, Jay. So I asked Jay, is it just me or is there a clear cut power struggle between the left and right or left or whoever, man, whoever these fucking characters may be? Is there a power struggle over the influence of the sheep?
So I think yes and no, quite honestly. Like, obviously, intention wise, yes. But I think that up until a few years ago, when people were still much more prevented, much more capped from being able to freely speak online,
Mm-hmm.
I think it seemed like much more of a, so to speak, power struggle over influence than it actually wound up being, because when one side was able to control the entirety of the
Mm-hmm.
narrative, it seemed like the people who didn't agree with stuff were in the minority, like they were far out there, and it was just some fringe people. But as soon as they took kind of the caps off of stuff, like Elon bought Twitter and just said everyone can say whatever it is that they want now, shit shifted heavily in the other direction. With and quite honestly, what I think that they pushed it too far on the other end was with the transformer
Yeah.
gender bender
Yeah.
stuff. I think that's what pushed it too far
Yep.
over the edge, because it's such a they took something so fringe and pushed it so extremely. I think they overestimated the amount of sway that they had. And while, yeah, some people have absolutely been brainwashed into it, drunk all of the Kool-Aid, so to speak, to go along with it, I think that was too big of a pill for most people to
Mm-hmm.
swallow. And that's kind of what got people over to the other side. And because of the little cult-like thing that it created, because of how divisive that it was, like, if you even say anything that's less than 100% support of it, then you get attacked and crucified so heavily. And again, I think that drove a lot of people off in the other direction, where they were able to take more moderate stances, or more somewhat accepting but somewhat not really, or kind of a you mind your business, do your own thing, but it's not for me kind of stance. Whereas that side labeled it as full hate and bigotry, and it was the end of the world. They want people fired from their jobs and all of that shit. So I think back in the day, there was more of a power struggle for stuff than currently. And I think that if there was that type of influential power struggle, one side is clearly winning. And I think that that's why people like George Soros, again, do your Googles, are buying things like
Right.
Hot
Right.
Ones, because while back in the day, a few years ago, the mainstream media was kind of the controller of information and what it is that people believed, the rise of podcasts, the rise of people talking on Twitter, on Instagram, or whatever the case may be, has kind of shifted people away from that.
That's
So
not all he bought though,
much,
Jay.
no, he bought the whole entire company with all of the rest of the stuff. But it's the rise of independent media has kind of taken away their power. So I think they're kind of trying to get that back by acquiring independent media outlets and tastemakers, so to speak, because all kinds of people go on Hot Ones. I think Kevin Hart was on there. I saw Vince Staples on
Everyone.
there. Like Seth Rogen was on
Everyone.
there. Like it's such a
Everyone.
wide
Yes.
array of people, and so
Great
them
acquirer.
having
That's a great
great acquisition.
acquisition.
Yeah, absolutely. Like So they have control over that, and then you have, by extension, you have control over the voices of a lot of people that go on there, and you see a lot of people who will just go with stuff. Ooh, Taylor Swift is voting for Kamala. That's amazing. So we are too. Like that means stuff to certain people. Like they care heavily who fucking Brad Pitt votes for, or whoever it is that people care about now. Like that's an interesting thing to them.
Yeah. So when I say power struggle, I mean, do you think the other side was happy? I don't think so. Do you think the other side was probably wishing, or maybe behind the scenes trying to do the same thing Mr. Soros was doing? I mean, if I was, I
So
would. That's what I would do. I'd be like, man, if that, because to add some context to the listener, you know, they were in debt. Hot Ones, or the company that owned Hot Ones, were in debt, a couple of hundred and some odd $1 million. Soros put the money up, whatever the case may be. I think he wasn't the only buyer or potential buyer. And I'm just saying that from common sense. Because if I was somebody, if I was on the other side, I'd be like, listen, man, I'm trying to put my bid in too. So do you think the other side
so
was happy about Mr. Soros acquiring this great acquisition?
so what I kind of think is that I think that one side has relies much more on purchased
Hmm.
ambassadors and everything than the
Hmm.
other side, because I think again the other side has people that pop up more
Right. Yeah.
organically as supporters or proponents.
At,
If you strip
at least it
away
looks like that. At least it
Israel,
looks like that. I agree.
again that's what it appears,
Yeah.
that's what it appears to be like. But you see, because you could see like, okay, clearly Taylor Swift is a paid endorsement for
Yeah.
somebody,
Yeah.
right? But then you go to the other side, and they have that's the side who has the people like Candace Owens or
Right.
whatever, who are more, who have big followings and are notable, but are not the typical type of celebrities. And that's those people seem to be more
Organic.
organic
Yeah.
supporters to me. So I think that one side has, again, that's just what it appears.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just
Right.
craftier. Who
Right.
knows? But the organic supporting of it seems to be more heavy on one side than the other, you know? So there's kind of people who will just pop up and do their own thing. Because I mean, quite honestly, if we were like, we don't participate in either side, sure. But if we were to get lumped in one of the two, it would not be
Absolutely.
the liberal half.
Absolutely.
And nobody is paying us.
No.
Nobody is saying, hey, you could say this or
But
you
we don't
can't
want
say
it.
this.
We
This
don't
is
want it
just what
either.
it is.
I don't want it. I don't want. Yeah.
Exactly. No, not at all. But the point is, so I think that because one side happens to skew, at least publicly so, towards common sense and logic. So more people fall on that side free of any sort of persuasion, right? Because it would take a lot for me to stand up here and say that I think that that dude can become a woman. And when I say a lot, I don't think that anyone has specifically what it is that I would require.
Word. A
So
sickness. A sickness, right? Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So, but I don't like, and that's one of the biggest reasons I think I don't believe that anybody organically holds that belief.
Mm.
Period. I don't believe that's an organic belief at all. Now, maybe the people who have this issue and who I don't even think really truly they believe that they're the same. I mean, some of them do. I'm sure some of the more extreme and the new ones do. But by and large, they've been a thing for forever, and they were never sitting there trying to convince anybody that they were the
Right.
same. That's new. But I don't believe that's an organic belief at all. So I believe that everyone who has adopted that belief has either been swayed and or purchased. That's my
No,
personal
that's
belief.
to me. That's kind of spot on, man. I mean, you answered my question. Um, I guess it is a little bit more nuanced than just power struggle and side, and because you just kind of broke it down. Like, yeah, I feel like even like a move like Junior being first on one side and then crossing over to the other side seemed to be organic, right? It wasn't. It didn't seem to be like a move that was strategized beforehand.
See that? That's the other thing too, is because he's not. I mean, again, this could be a very well orchestrated
Spitball,
thing,
we
but
spitballing
he's
here.
not.
Yeah, it's not. We don't know.
He just doesn't hold, like, he's heavily labeled as a conspiracy theorist and all of
Right.
that stuff, and that just doesn't go with that side to me. But what I do find interesting, and this is a great point to what it is that we were talking about before, because originally he was running as either a Democrat or an independent,
Democrat.
one of the two, and
Democrat.
he got up and he gave a speech. Everybody loved his speech and applauded him, both sides of the thing, and they were like, "This is amazing. This is what it is that we
Yep.
need." Then he stepped down and said, "I support Trump," and the people who were
Mm.
originally championing him
Mm.
immediately turned on him, immediately, because they heard the word that they were conditioned to be against, and they just flipped without thinking about it, because any degree of common sense would tell you, I love everything that this man said.
Right.
He realizes that he has no chance, and what he's best off doing is endorsing a candidate. So he endorsed that. Why didn't he endorse this person? Why did
Absolutely.
he endorse this person?
Yeah.
The true common sense, free thinking, I'm coming to my own conclusions thought says, I supported him. He supports this person. Why? Not you immediately, not fuck you immediately,
Right.
not an immediate rejection, not immediate anger. Why does he support him? If I like everything that he says, am I missing something about this other guy? But they don't think like that, because again, these aren't their own organically held beliefs. They just operate off of these buzzwords and this conditioning for stuff. They don't know why they feel the way that they do. They just go with boom, whatever.
Yeah, and it made me research even deeper the left and the right and the, capitalism and socialism and all. It made me kind of, because I'm not political, man, by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't even try to portray it. But common sense, I try to use common sense, and even the statements Mackey said about his sons, people automatically was like, well, he's on the right side. That's what made me like, wait, what? Wait, what? Like, how is that? How does that work? So that's what made me research. Like, there's sides like that. So this one side picks this side, and this side picks this side, and just because he made a statement that seems to be a little manly. He made a manly statement, and then okay, well, he's right. He's a right wing because he says some man shit, and if you say some pussy shit, you were left with like. So I'm like, okay, I see how this is going. Let me just do a little. Let me do a little research for myself because I'm not. I don't know too much about policies and political sides and stuff like that. But when I did do my research, I was like, okay, so the Democratic Party, which is considered the left, is they're for community and equal and being equal and people not being impoverished and so I'm like, damn, so it hasn't been working. Whatever whatever you're for hasn't been working. And I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm not none of that shit. I'm not political, but I'm just on the outside looking in. So whatever you are trying to implement, which is everyone should be equal, everyone should have a piece of this, and everyone should have it. But that's never happened. So obviously, it's never worked. Whatever you try to implement hasn't worked. So why should someone be one thing that hasn't worked for 50 years? Why? And why? And if not, why would he be criticized if he chooses to cross the street when it ain't been working?
Not only has it not been working, it's so, like, people like to talk about this equality thing, right? Like, there is no world in which true blanket equality is possibly even
We
achievable.
talked about that.
Like,
Yep.
the only you can't have that, because if you get 100 people and they all start a race at the same spot and you let them all go at the same time, people are going to finish at different times. Some people are going to make it to the end, some people aren't, some aren't even going to start running. And the only way to make them all equal would be to make sure every single one of them does what the person who is going to try the least does.
Mm,
That's the only way that you can have equality there. Like, it's not a thing. It's a, and I understand that it's a noble, nice sounding idea.
mm,
I understand that it
mm.
sounds like the loving thing to do, but in reality, what we've been talking about the entirety of this time is what is true. And what is true is you can't have, it's not possible. There's no way to have that because someone is not going to try and that person is going to get left behind, period.
Hey Jay, that brings me
Yes, sir.
that what you just said is interesting because I read this quote while I was reading and it I forgot who was it. Is it really it's one of these dudes, right? So the quote, oh no, it was Machiavelli. He said being virtuous without cunning is weakness. And that just made me
Mm,
think of what you just said. Like being kind just for the sake of being kind is, or being good just for the sake of being good without having any thought behind it of trying to advance yourself is being weak, right? And I agree with that shit, man. I know it sounds fucked up, but we started with the truth being hard. That's how we started. The truth is hard, and you have to be able to accept it. So me just being good for the sake of good and just accepting whatever you give me and saying, "Hey, man, thank you," and all this other shit, because that's what it seems to be the right way to do things and the virtuous way to do things. That's not. That is a weakness, man. You have to have some type of cunning, right, to accomplish things, right? To accomplish great things, you have to be cunning. You have to be like, listen, I'm gonna be good in this situation because I know being good in this situation is gonna get me to where I have to go. I'm going to be cunning in this situation because I know that cunning is going to get me to where I have to go in this certain situation. So just being good in every situation you're put in is going to lead to different results, and most of those results is going to be a result you don't want. You know what I'm saying? You
see,
can't be one way in
yeah,
every situation.
I mean, that's a fact, but I also think that most people have a terrible definition of what they consider good or kind to be. Like a large part of this is the again it goes back to the other thing where it sounds great that everyone should have the same thing. It sounds great that no one should have to struggle. It sounds great that everyone should get to express themselves and be who it is that they are. That
Sounds
sounds
good.
good. That sounds
Sounds good.
kind.
Yes.
But when you come to the actual reality of it, that's not what's factually true. Like with the we spoke about the body positivity thing earlier. Like that sounds good. Yes, everyone should feel lovely about their body. Okay, cool. That's fine. That sounds like a great idea. But in reality, these things need to be earned. And not only are some things unappealing, but they are unhealthy as
Right.
well. So you telling somebody that, yeah, you being 350 pounds and 5'2", you're still beautiful no matter what, isn't helpful to them. Sure, it might make themselves feel good and that seems nice or whatever, but
Jay, Jay,
it
Jay. Don't mean to cut you off. It might make them feel good, but I think it might feel the person who's saying it make them feel even better about saying it.
Yeah, see, people love them little sympathy points. That, oh, I'm a good
Yeah,
person, and go, hey,
yeah,
look how
yeah, yeah.
compassionate I am. I said that all bodies are beautiful,
Yes,
and there's 80 million genders.
yes,
Yay! I'm so compassionate. I'm understanding, and I'm tolerant. That's
yes.
where you get these. This is where you get these white folks running around trying to tell black people they should be mad about racism more and all of
Right.
this stuff, and or fucking Bethany across the street who has lived all 30 years of her extremely white life in the suburbs yelling at people for wearing sombreros because it's cultural appropriation for a Mexican that she's never seen. It's like, what are you talking? It's again all of the virtue signaling. I want to feel good about some
Yes.
stuff, and I absolutely agree with that because I don't believe that the people who go with this are for the cause other than the cause of making themselves feel like they're good people because they all want to be like, yay me, look
Gunshots.
at how accepting that I am. I am amazing. Like that. This is what it is that they do. This is not love. This is not compassion. This is not kindness. This
No.
is selfishness. In life, the truly loving, compassionate thing to do is say, hey, You're a fuck up, and that's why you're poor. And if you continue to be a fuck up, you're going to continue to be poor. I understand that you don't want to hear that, but the solution is not for me to tell you it's okay. The solution is for you to stop being poor, so I no longer have a reason to say it. I understand that you want to look at yourself in the mirror and feel good about yourself, but currently you look like shit, and that's your fault because you can't stay out of the drive-thru. Put the fucking burgers down and go to the gym and give it some time, and then can be attractive and healthy as well. I understand that sucks, but such is life. You put yourself in this situation and you need to get yourself out of it. And the the hard truth is, yeah, most people are absolutely going to be poor for the remainder of their life. But because of that, everyone who's poor is choosing to be poor because they're not doing what it takes. Because anyone can go get rich. Everyone can't, sure, but everyone won't try. But because everyone won't try, it means anyone can do it. So if you're not doing it, this is your choice. You are choosing to sit there and sit at the bottom like a loser, waiting for some random candidate savior to come pop up and give you a house and $10 million just because you deserve it, because you're alive and it's your human right to have the fruits of someone else's labor, which is an absolutely stupid thing to think. But this is what gets championed. And this is why people don't do shit, because they're like, if I vote for the right person, everything's going to be amazing. I'm going to get this person into office, and now I'm going to have a job that pays me $1 million a year, and I'm going to only have to work 16 hours a week, and I'm going to be given this amazing house, and I won't have to pay taxes, or landlords won't be able to charge me rent because for some reason landlords are evil. Like it's all fucking insanity, and it is all nonsense. And again, I believe that because maybe I'm a cynical person, I don't know, but this is just what makes sense to my brain, is that these people push these things not because they want the good of people, but because they know that people will cling to the hope of it and go along with them. And I also think this is why they label stuff the way that they label certain things, because like the DEI stuff, right? They label it diversity, equity, and inclusion because you sound like a dick when you say I'm against diversity, equity, and
Right,
inclusion. That's why they call their little
right,
movement Black Lives Matter,
right.
because
Sound
you
like an
sound like a
asshole.
racist when you say that Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter is
yeah,
bad. They engulf or encompass these things under these other things, because you sound like a dick when you say no, I don't support tolerance. You sound like a dick
yeah.
now. So this is why they call it
I
that.
don't think Black Lives Matter. So you sound crazy saying that. So that
Yeah, you sound racist now that you say this. You can't even question their organization without sounding
no,
like a
no, you
racist,
can't.
and that's what they want.
That's what they want.
Because you can't even sound like a good person saying no, I
Right.
don't believe in
But
equality.
that
This is what they cloak it
yeah,
in.
that leads us to our point. Like, are you really a good person? Are you
It's performative. It's on the top end, it's a control mechanism, and on the bottom end, it's performative. You don't care about this stuff. Like let's be real. It's going back to this other stuff. You sit behind closed doors. You're not sitting here thinking about fucking men having babies, or the fact that you need your shoes to come from a company that has 12 different types of people on the board. Like, I don't want to buy shoes unless a white person, a Mexican, an Asian person, and a Filipino lesbian are in charge of this. Like, you don't care about that shit. Nobody cares about that shit. Shut the fuck up.
yeah, that makes me think like even the last show we had, we put a clip on the game within the game page. And within that clip I think I was being Joe, not the last one of these shows. We put a clip out, and I was being fucking satirical, and I said, "Hey, man, I don't want to hear your fucking problems. If I ask you, how you doing, don't tell me how you doing." We was doing what we do, cutting it, popping shit, and I don't think it's cynical for seeing people for who they are. I don't find the truth to be cynical. So I used to find myself, oh, Rand, you're just cynical, man. You're a cynic to the heart. But after hard thinking, no. Just because I see the world for what it is or people for what they are, I'm not fucking cynical. So, in the comments, people will say, "Oh man, that's fucked up." You know what I'm saying? Like, be polite. Somebody asking you about their day, I'm like, yo, listen, dog. You do not listen, motherfucker. You don't want to hear nobody. If you ask somebody how they doing on the street and they stop and they tell you you don't want to hear that shit. You don't want to hear that. So stop
You
lying.
don't wind up at a therapy session with some stranger at a bus stop
Yeah, man, stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. You ain't lying to me. You ain't lying to me. You lying to
see
yourself.
every single time. And then thinking that they're fooling somebody, like they're trying to convince
I don't think
themselves
you're
that they're
good.
this super amazing
I don't think you're
person.
good.
Not only do I not think that, I don't even care.
I don't
Like,
care. I don't care. And then hold on. Even plus. Fuck me thinking you good. I think you're the opposite. I think you're a piece of shit for lying to yourself.
because you sitting here lying. It's facade because you want other people to think you want someone to see this comment that you're leaving and be like, oh, this person's really kind and
Come on,
compassionate
man.
because he cares how people shut the
Come
fuck up.
on, man.
No, you don't.
Let's stop that.
Neither does the other person who's proud of you for doing it. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, let's
Relax.
stop that.
But see, this is the other thing though. They call realism cynicism and they call pessimism realism. So people are sit there and like people want to sit there and complain all the time and say, I'm just being a realist. No, you're not.
No.
You are complaining. You are being a pessimist. You are being negative. It's not realistic unless it's just a neutral description of what it is that's happening. And then they call realism cynicism because it sounds bad.
Right.
It doesn't, however it sounds, it doesn't make it not factual. It's not being cynical when we say XYZ. We're just making statements of fact. You might not like the sound of the facts, but that's not, doesn't make it not a fact. That's just life.
Or how I say it does not make it not a fact either. Don't.
How you say something, how you hear something does not affect the shit. And that is exactly the problem. Because again, and this goes to what we were saying in the beginning, it lets me know exactly what kind of person that you are when you are more focused on how I said something. Because what's most important to you is feeling good. You want to feel better. You don't want to be better. That is how it is that people wind up being fat, being junkies, being broke, being all of this dumb shit because they just want to feel good all of the time without ever actually taking the time to improve themselves. Because making yourself feel good feels good. But doing what you have to do to improve yourself does not feel good. And accepting that you have to do these certain things to improve yourself does not feel good. So you get caught up in all of the prettiness of the words and the, oh, this doesn't sound nice, or you can word this better, or this should be more kind, or no, fuck you. This is the truth, and you need to accept it. It's honestly, it's only your problem if you
Listen,
don't.
let me tell you something. I always, and I'm gonna give away one of my secrets, one of my tactics that I use to. You run into a motherfucker like me, man. You're in a world of hurt, and I'm talking about mentally, man. You're in a world of hurt, man, because thinking the way you think is not gonna cut it, man. So one of my tricks is, and I'll tell the people this, and it works. Do you if you want to know about someone, you want to really know about this person and their makeup, their intestinal fortitude, their mental makeup. You want to know about that? Be blatantly honest one time with them and see what happens. And you sit and you watch, and you see them. You see the reaction, and you will know everything you need to know about that person. I do it all the time. Sometimes I'll just be like, no, with no explanation, no, and see what happens. I want to know about you. I want to know what you're made of. And your response will tell me everything I need to know. So if you're
Every single
every
time.
time, so if you have look, people out there, if you have a question about a friend, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a husband, whatever, a boss, a coworker, you want to know about this person, be honest with them. Hey man, them shoes is disgusting. Or look, man, look, don't even volunteer. You don't have to volunteer the information because that'll be what mean. That'll be mean, right? So next time someone asks,
You're a bully.
right? So next time someone asks you something, hey man, what you think about my shirt, John? Man, look, you're overweight, and the shirt doesn't fit well. It'll look better on me.
Everything looks like shit on
Yeah,
you.
nothing's gonna look good on you, John. It looks better on me, right?
Period.
Period, right? And you just say it like that. You don't have that mean tone or compassionate tone because there's no way you're going to say it that he's going to accept it anyway. But just sit back and lay back and see how he reacts to that truth, and you will know everything you need to know about John. Okay? So that's one of my secret.
John's probably a bitch.
John's probably a bitch, like most of you are. So that's one of my tactics. Until you run into somebody like me, and I'm destroying you mentally and I just know exactly who you are when I see you. And people like, oh, well, how you don't know me? Oh, I know you. I do. I know exactly who you are.
That's one thing that I hate when people say it's what's on the inside that counts. Like your outside is a reflection of your inside. Like I could look at you could look at certain people. It's like, no, you're not disciplined. No, you have no self
Absolutely.
control. No, you're clearly a pleasure seeker. You are clearly selfish. You clearly don't give a fuck about yourself for real. Like these things show up on the outside of people. This is it's not different. It's not like you're this amazingly kind, disciplined, great, strong soul inside of a shitty body. No, your body is a reflection of who it is that you
Absolutely.
are, period. There are no
Absolutely.
exceptions to that rule. I mean, yes, some people are born with defects or whatever, like physical stuff. That's different for everyone who wants to be pedantic about some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you being fat is a reflection of who you are. You dressing like shit is a reflection of who you are. Your face being all crazily broken out and all of that shit is a reflection of who it is that you are. Like all of these things are tied together. If you don't get your hair cut but every 3-4 months, that's a reflection of who it is that you are.
Yes. I mean,
All of these things
you
are.
might not like it. You might not like it, but
It's facts though.
it's the
You
fucking
know,
truth.
they have it's a show on Netflix. It's called Love Is Blind. It's like some shit. These people like sit behind a wall and they
Mm,
talk to each other
I've
and
never
see
seen it.
if people could fall in love without seeing each other. I haven't really seen it either. I'm familiar with the concept of it though, but like it's a very stupid premise because they're sitting here talking about all of this shit. The looks don't matter and it's not important.
Shit.
This is a reflection of who you are as a person. Like it is a certain, even if you want to take weight out of it, there is a certain kind of person who tattoos the entirety of their
Mm-hmm.
face. Like there's a certain kind of person who only has dreadlocks growing out of one side of their head. There's a certain kind of person who walks around everywhere in Ninja Turtle pajamas. What if you fall in love with this motherfucker and he only ever dresses like a Power Ranger?
Right.
Like that's reflective of who he
Right.
is.
And people
Like these aren't separate.
and people who don't pay attention to that and pay attention to the words. I gotta watch that show because yeah, because these are people that just
It's all
they just
related.
listening to the words. They're just listening to the words.
Anything you could say
You could
anything that
say
sounds good.
anything that
You could
sounds
sit
good.
there. You could say you're the strongest person in the world. You come out there and be motherfucking 600 pounds of shit. It's like, oh, clearly you are
Clearly,
not, you
you are
liar.
not.
Like you motherfucker, you could have meth tracks all up and down your face with teeth rotted out from hair. Like these are all relevant things. Like it's not no one goes through the world doing all kinds of stuff and their body just doesn't reflect any of it. Like these things are important. These things are relevant. And the idea that they're two separate things is absolutely fucking stupid and is a coping mechanism for people who don't know how to try in life.
Right. So I guess what we're trying to say is be the best version of yourself, please. Be the best.
Period.
You don't have to be fucking The Rock or fucking Jessica Alba or whoever the fuck you think you need to compare yourself. You know, comparison is the
Hey, Jessica Alba.
oh yeah, well, you know. Comparison is the
I wonder what the fuck happened to her.
she's fucking filthy rich actually. She because she left
Oh yeah, she like married some billionaire or some shit, right?
nah, she started some
No?
nah, she might have, I don't know, but
Oh, that I don't fucking
that's
know.
not the reason though. She had got into some
Oh, okay.
she did some makeup. Oh, I don't know. She did something smart that has nothing to
Good for Jessica Alba.
yeah, nothing to do with acting, and she became fucking. But whatever. But I forgot what the fuck Jessica Alba just threw us off.
Yeah, you don't got to be none of them people.
Yeah. Listen. So we can end it. We can end with I'll end it with this, right? And this all ties in with the truth, right? And what we were just saying about being the best version of yourself and putting forth the best version of yourself so that certain things and certain good things can happen to you. So everyone has some type of greatness within them. I know you've heard this. You've heard this. I believe this. Everybody on this planet Earth has some type of greatness, but and I think I hate to just be pulling up quotes and I always butcher these shits, Jay. It was, I read a lot, and a lot of words just get jumbled up in my head, and I write, and I'm so. But I'll try not to butcher it. It's Einstein. Einstein said, a fish, if a, let me see if I get it right.
Mm.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. If a fish judges itself on its ability to climb a tree, that fish will spend its life believing it is inept. So basically, for the people who are fucking idiots, that means find find what you do that's great and be great. Not what someone else is doing or what this person is doing, and because comparison is the killer of joy. Find what it is that you are great at and be great at that. That means putting the best version of yourself, right? And that journey, and all these, I say this, and I say this because it is Jay. That journey begins with one thing: standing up to that bully called the truth.
Mm.
And once you stand up and accept what that bully has to tell you, and you are ready to be like, yes, man, you are right, bully, truth, you're right. I am fat, I'm a loser, I'm broke, I'm lazy, whatever the case may be, I'm ugly, whatever. Once you accept these things and try to put your best foot forward to put your best version of yourself, that's when the journey begins. And that journey is the journey to become the best version of yourself. The truth will set you free, god damn it.
That's a motherfucking fact. You know what? I actually, so once you can accept the truth, you make yourself into someone who's willing to accept the truth. I actually think that a super easy life hack, I don't like life hacks, but a very easy life hack is if you then decide to live your life in a way that at any moment in time you are willing and happy to tell the truth, that will help you accomplish almost all of your goals in the entirety of the world. It will prevent you from getting in trouble for doing
Mm,
stupid shit. It will prevent you from slacking off because then at some point you have to sit there and be willing to admit that, no, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I was watching porn and napping, and you're going to feel like a fucking idiot because you have to state that. So if you just live your life in a way that you are always prepared to tell the truth, whatever that may be, you will go not millions and millions of miles farther than the vast majority of people who are out here lying to themselves and lying to everyone else. So, which kind of goes back to what we were talking about before with Anthony Mackie, integrity.
man. Boom! Gunshots. Gunshots.
That's how we rocking out here,
Look, game
motherfuckers.
within the game. We giving them the game. We giving y'all the game, man. I swear. I swear we giving y'all the game and shit. And
Better not be out here sleeping on shit. Come on.
nah, we ain't gonna let you sleep, man. We ain't gonna let the sheep sleep. Hey, man, you sleep or if you a sheep and you sleep around me, you gonna wake up fucking with no motherfucking wool on your motherfucking back.
Motherfucker, shaved.
yeah,
We gonna be running around here with some fucking shearling
yeah, I'm
coats
gonna be
on. What's
looking
up?
like Frank Lucas before he threw the mink into the. I'll be having. I'm a chinchilla. Fuck chinchilla. I'm gonna have a sheep shilla. Shit.
There you go. What?
Fuck you talking about?
Out here slacking. See, you can't. This is why you can't be out here slacking though, because other people aren't.
That's a fact. Other people like us, like I told you, you run into somebody like us, you better have your wits about you. You better have your wits about you, because I'm, like, and people who believe that certain things that we believe, you can't. It's hard to get a one up on certain people like us, right? And once you adapt this mindset, you will have so much advantage over 99.9% of the rest of the world, which will make you some
Facts.
sort of successful. With that, whatever that success may be, it will be some sort of success. Trust me.
Whatever success looks like to you.
Whatever success looks like to you. That is the game within the game. And I am the ex-Marine, Jack Jadderall,
Alonzo.
Alonzo, You know, next time you see me, I'm gonna have that beard again. I'm gonna go get them.
But we know what we not gonna do is pop up here
We ain't
clean
doing that.
shaven and baby.
We ain't doing that. I'm gonna cancel the goddamn show before I pop up looking like a rapist. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Shit, I wasn't on that. We pop up looking like one of them motherfuckers on that island. We ain't doing that.
Mm,
We ain't doing that.
no
All
parts
of
of
them
it
clean shaved
at
motherfuckers,
all.
all of them clean shaved motherfuckers that was on that island, we don't condone that.
Hey, that's facts. Because you know what? You look back at all them politicians and president, and they all real bald face.
Listen,
Barack Obama ain't have an ounce of beard on him.
what are we telling y'all people, man? Just
just,
look.
just an observable fact. Epstein didn't have a beard either.
Come on, yo. We giving yo, listen, we gotta stop, Jay. We gotta stop giving them all the
You know
secrets.
what? Gunshots, we out of here, motherfuckers.